everyone, it's Carrah and welcome back to my channel. Today I decided to do a different style of opening for you guys, and this was inspired by the channel Doodle Date, which I have up here on my screen. I am in love with their channel and I've been binge watching like a bunch of their stuff lately. But you guys never really get to see my sketching or inking process due to the space I have on my mom's phone, and then I usually start sketches while I'm at work or in my bed, which currently I'm in my bed. I started the sketch I'm working on at work. So, yeah, I thought this might be a nice way to show you sort of where I get my inspiration and like my process, I guess. Because I've stated in the past also that I don't really feel comfortable inking on cameras a lot because inking on camera, I tend to always mess up, and I really need to have a steady hand for those lines you see in the hair and everything. Which I'm sure you kind of understand. But, yeah, I'm still going to do the sped up speed coloring portion, so you'll still see that in full. I just wanted to add this little bit at the beginning. Anyway, I was inspired by Squishmallows for this drawing I'm going to be showing you today, and I specifically picked up this one for two reasons. One, it's a cat, and I love cats. And two, there's two little faults in it. This one has a little black thread over here, and there's a little hole by the eye over here. And I just felt bad for it, so I picked it up and started babying it all the way home. And I really wanted one. They're really squishy and stretchy. I can't really show the stretchiness of it on camera, but I am in love with these and I really want more, specifically the cow one. To get on to the actual sketch that I have, I just want to say I sketched in this pink lead. It's for my mechanical pencil, and I just threw it into a cheap mechanical pencil, but the colored lead is called Color Eno lead, and I will link to it down in the description below in case you want some. It is erasable as well, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, this is the sketch I created, and it's just a girl holding a squishmallow with a bunch of squishmallows around her. I put a giant beanbag-sized one behind her, even though those don't exist as far as I'm aware. But I wanted one in the background that was like a beanbag size, so I added it. The pose was actually inspired again by Doodle Date. There was this video where Steph found a giant box of Frosties, or in the US they're called Frosted Flakes, on her side of the bed, and she was in this pose that I drew as practice, and I just wanted to use it for an actual character. So that's what I did. As far as inking, I'm thinking I'm going to use pink ink and then use this tan one sort of for darker areas or areas that need to be darker. I was thinking of more of a pastel style artwork this time around. So I will be back and show you a little bit of that inking process and let you know if I decide to continue with the pink inking. So I don't know. I've never done, I've done colored ink in the past, but it makes me nervous every time because I'm used to doing black ink. Anyway, I will be back when I have some inking done and let you know. I decided it was about time for an inking update, and so far I'm really happy with the pink ink actually. It got a lot darker than I expected, so I don't think I'm going to have to use my brown ink at all, hopefully. We'll see when it comes time for me to color. But one thing I noticed while using my pink ink is that, I don't think it's going to show up on camera, but the ink kind of feathers a little bit on this paper, makes it look kind of fuzzy. It's not a big deal though, you can't really tell. I just noticed that while I was working on it. For inking, I am using a pink Micron, which looks like this, and then I also have a few little pink Copic multiliners. And the reason why I have a bunch of these is because they're running a little low on ink, so I keep having to switch between them. But the next time you see this drawing, I will probably be doing the speed color, so yay! I don't really know how to end that. I actually decided to throw in a picture of the line art before I got into coloring. As far as the coloring went, I knew I wanted something kind of pastel-y and light and cute. However, I didn't really know how I was going to go about achieving that look. The thing about the pink line art is I cannot go as dark with my colors as what I usually like to do. So this was a bit of a challenge for me in that sense because usually, for example, the skin tone. I usually use 10 to 15 different markers for the skin tone alone. However, when it came to this line art, the pink one, in order to keep it somewhat pastel-y looking, I had to limit myself to 6 markers. And I also was trying to keep more of a pink undertone throughout the entire artwork so that it all went together really well and went with the pink line art. So that was something that I had to consider. The skin tones, though, like I said, limited myself to 6 here. I used 3 pinks, a sort of coral color, and then 2 legitimate skin tones. So if you want to know the specific markers, I used E000, E00, E93, which is a corally type of color, R81, R83, and R85. So I was still able to get a pretty nice contrast in the skin, but it's still not what I usually like to have. Nonetheless, it still looks really nice, and I do like how it looks with this line art. I'm going to be honest here and say I actually have to re-record the entire rest of the video because as I was going back and listening, I realized I was calling the Squishmallows Squishimals instead. So that's fun. Anyway, with the Squishmallows, I decided I would stop referencing them when it came time to color. And the entire reason why I don't want to reference with coloring is because I wanted to give myself a little bit more freedom with them. I referenced them initially just so I could get their basic structure and shapes down accurately, but they come in so many different colors and color schemes and such that I decided I would just give myself that little bit of freedom and let my creativity bring them a little bit more to life. That being said, a lot of them did end up matching their real-life stuffed animals because I just preferred that color scheme. Like the fox, for example, I like that orange color, and the frog, I feel like it wouldn't have looked as much like a frog unless I made it green. Now I just want to talk about the white areas of the artwork a little bit. For example, the undershirt underneath the girl's blue sweater, that was supposed to be white, as well as the center part of the cat plushie. So I didn't want to use a gray marker to shade those areas because that would kind of desaturate the artwork a little bit. And I felt like with the pink lines, I wanted to use pink so that the white actually fit in with the drawing a little bit more. Then I brought the pink a little too far into those areas, which resulted in the white areas looking more like a light pink. That being said, I'm not mad at it. It was a little bit of a mistake on my end. I still really like the look of the artwork, and I don't mind that it's a little bit more pink than I expected it to be. If I were to ever recreate this artwork, I would honestly change or add a few things next time around. The first thing I would do is change the white areas. I would make sure that they look a little bit more white than they do pink. And I can do that by bringing the pink more to the outer edges, just closer to the line art so that more white space is available and seen, so it's less pink. The next thing I would do is add more squishmallows to the artwork and cover up that bed a little bit more. I wanted it to look like she was really surrounded by these little stuffed animals, but I was also afraid of putting duplicates on there because I didn't really want to create too many of the same type of animal or too many of the same looking plushies. So I decided to do like one of each animal that I have on here. Realistically though, I could have added more of the same animal and just done a different color scheme on them, so I feel kind of silly for thinking in that way, but in the future I would definitely want to add more and cover her bed in them. The third thing I would do is change the girl's expression. In this drawing, she looks really scared of something or shy, just very uncomfortable looking. So I would want her to look a little bit more calm and happy, possibly have the Squishmallow lowered from her face a little bit more so you can see a little smile or something. But I just feel like there's a thunderstorm outside and she's like cowering in fear, and if that were the case, then I would have changed the lighting entirely, which I could also do with the next drawing, I suppose, if I want to keep that expression. The last thing I would change is the background. I would add some photos or drawings to the background so it looks like her room is a little bit more lived in than it currently is. But otherwise, I mean, I'm pretty happy with the piece. So now I want to ask you guys, do you guys have any Squishmallows? What kind of Squishmallows do you have? I only have a cat right now, but I am definitely going to get that cow because it's just too cute. But yeah, that is it for this video. If you like this drawing, feel free to leave a like on the video. If you're not already and you'd like to be, subscribe to my channel, support my art. I will leave social media in the description below, as well as materials I used. I will see you guys in the next video.